On YouTube, it's circling. Okay, it's live now. All right. Happy Saturday, everybody. Levon, Talaine, blessings. Hey, girls, hey. All right, y'all. All right, so today, hopefully we get through the regular Torah portion of reading, so we can get them fossilized customs today. We didn't get a chance to read it. The reading was extremely long. I did not expect it to be that long. Okay, y'all, it is Saturday, June the 5th, 2021, day 172 of year 3 of reading through the books of the law and the prophets, and of the 3-year consecutive day count, day 841. Y'all, today we're reading 4th Ezra, also known as 2nd Esdras in Latin, and Apocrypha. And we're reading chapters 2, 3, and 4. And then we will jump over the fossilized customs and pick up where we left off at on Thursday. Yes, I said that right. Okay, so let's go ahead and do the Shema. Get up really quick. All right, y'all remember the Shema? It's found in Deuteronomy chapter 6. Hear, therefore, O Israel, and observe to do it, that it may be well with you, and that you may increase mightily, as YAHUAH, the Elohim of our fathers, has promised us, in the land that flows with milk and honey. Hear, O Israel, YAHUAH, our mighty one, he is one, right? Not multiple, he is one. And you shall love YAHUAH, your Elohim, with your heart and with all your soul and with all your might. And these words which I command you this day shall be in your heart. And you shall teach them diligently unto your children, and shall talk of them when you sit in your house, and when you walk by the way, and when you lie down, and when you rise up. And you shall bind them for a sign upon your hand, and they shall be as frontlets between your eyes, and you shall write them upon the posts of your house and on your gates. And YAHUAH commanded us to do all these statutes, to fear YAHUAH, our mighty one, for our good always, that he might preserve us alive as it is at this day. And it shall be our righteousness if we observe to do all these commandments before YAHUAH, our mighty one, as he has commanded us. All right, y'all. Let's do this. I should really just go and push this back before I pull up my scrolls. Alicia, y'all, hey girl, hey. All right. Bags up here. Sorry. All right, y'all. 4th Ezra, chapter 2. Thus says YAHUAH, I brought this people out of bondage, and I gave them my commands by my men servant. I'm sorry, I'm getting tongue tied already. Okay, let's start over. Thus says YAHUAH, I brought this people out of bondage, and I gave them my commandments by men servants, the prophets, whom they would not hear, but despised my counsels. The mother that bore them says unto them, Go your way, ye children, for I am a widow and forsaken. I brought you up with gladness, but with sorrow and heaviness have I lost you, for ye have sinned before YAHUAH Elohim, and done that thing which is evil before him. Let me go back. Okay. Salama, Jonathan. Listen, have you read in the New Testament, you will see this, and I believe it's in Revelation when it's talking about the great whore who sits upon the beast and says, I am no widow. Yeah, I am no widow. right? I'm not sure if you knew where they pulled that from, but they pulled it from here. So if you go back and you read that within its context, you will see it's actually like the opposite of what Yahuwah says, right, is going to happen to them. So it's almost like a how you want to say it, like one of those "I told you so" type things, where you will say this is going to happen, and it's like you sitting up here, and I believe she had her don't. I think that picture that I see is actually a picture that somebody drew that I normally see when that scripture. You know how when you see the or when you read it, there's like this picture of this woman sitting upon this beast, and she has like a glass of wine in her hand. But when I read that scripture, that's the picture that normally comes to mind, because it's been paired a lot with drawings like that, right? But anyway, it's taken from here. Let me go back. Verse 2. The mother that bore them says unto them, Go your way, ye children, for I am a widow and forsaken. I brought ye up with gladness, but with sorrow and heaviness have I lost you. For ye have sinned before YAHUAH Elohim, and done that thing which is evil before him. But what shall I now do unto you? I am a widow and forsaken. Go your way, O my children, and ask mercy of Yahuwah. As for me, O Father, I call upon you for a witness over the mother of these children, which would not guard my covenant, that you bring them to confusion and their mother to a spoil, that there be no offspring of them. Let them be scattered abroad among the heathen. Let their names be put out of the earth. For they have despised my covenant. Woe be unto you, Asher, that hide the unrighteous in you. O you wicked people, remember what I did unto Sodom and Gomorrah, whose land lies in clouds of pitch and heaps of ashes. Even so will I do unto them that hear me not, says El Shaddai Yahuwah. Thus says Yahuwah unto Ezra, Tell my people that I would give them the kingdom of Jerusalem, which I would have given unto Israel. Their glory also will I take unto me, and give these the everlasting tabernacles which I had prepared for them. They shall have the tree of life for an anointment of sweet savor. They shall neither labor nor be weary. Go, and ye shall receive. Pray for a few days unto you, that they may be shortened. The kingdom is already prepared for you. Watch. Take heaven and earth to witness, for I have broken the evil in pieces and created the good. For I live, says Yahuwah. Mother, embrace your children and bring them up with gladness. Make their feet as fast as a pillar, for I have chosen you, says Yahuwah. And those that be dead will I raise up again from their places and bring them out of the graves, for I have known my name in Israel. Fear not, you mother of the children, for I have chosen you, says Yahuwah. For your help I will send my servant Esau and Jeremiah, after whose counsel I have sanctified and prepared for you 12 trees laden with diverse fruits, and as many fountains flowing with milk and honey, and 7 mighty mountains whereupon there grow and 7 mighty mountains, whereupon there grow roses and lilies, whereby I will fill your children with joy. Do right to the widow, judge the fatherless, give to the poor, defend the orphan, clothe the naked, heal the broken and weak. Laugh not a lame man to scorn. Defend the maimed, and let the blind man come into the sight of my clearness. Keep the old and young within your walls. Wheresoever you find the dead, take them and bury them, and I will give you the first place in my resurrection. Abide still, O my people, and take your rest, for your quietness still come. Nourish your children, O good nurse, establish their feet. As for the servants whom I have given you, there shall not one of them perish, for I will require them from among your number. Be not weary, for when the day of trouble and heaviness comes, others shall weep and be sorrowful, but you shall be merry and have abundance. The heathen shall envy you, but they shall be able to do nothing against you, says Yahuwah. My hands shall cover you, so that your children shall not see Sheol. Be joyful, O mother, with your children, for I will deliver you, says Yahuwah. Remember your children that sleep, for I shall bring them out of the sides of the earth and show mercy unto them. For I am merciful, says Yahuwah Sebawoti. Embrace your children until I come and show mercy unto them. For my wells run over, and my grace shall not fail. I, Ezra, received a charge of Yahuwah upon Mount Oreb, that I should go unto Yasharal. But when I came unto them, they set me at naught, and despised the commandment of Yahuwah. And therefore I say unto you, O ye heathen, that hear and understand, look for your shepherd. He shall give you everlasting rest, for he is nigh at hand. That shall come in the end of the world. Be ready to reward. Be ready to the reward of the kingdom, for the everlasting light shall shine upon you forevermore. Flee the shadow of this world. Receive the joyfulness of your glory. I testify my Savior openly. Remember, Yahuwah alone is our Savior. Look like one of your aunts. Very scary. Yeah. Look, I seen some pictures of some people that my family looks like. Me and my sister talked about it a while ago as we were like doing the research and understanding where we come from. I'm like, wow, I actually might be related to some of these people. And when I did this African ancestry test, right? I know some people, they don't do them, but I've done a couple of them, but I wanted to see what the results were based on the other few that I had done. It just kind of compare, see if they all full of crap or if one was a little more, if it gave more details. But what I found out is they all pretty much told me the same thing, right? They gave me just about the same results. The only difference was African ancestry was able to break it down, because they have more blood from the black and brown tribes, or black and brown people, that they have more information, and they got a lot of the blood of the people that's in Africa. So they was able to pinpoint me back specifically to a specific tribe. And it's the tribe is broken up within 3 places. And I didn't understand that a while ago until I realized that the borders have been messed with. So those 3 places that they said where my people were at, it actually used to just be one place. But when they came in, divided up the land and set up borders and stuff, it looks like 3 different places. I'm like, how can I be from 3 different places? But originally it used to be one. It's Sierra Leone, Liberia, and Guinea-Bissau. You got borders all chopped up in through there, so, but all that based on my research and stuff, and it could be more, but my people were condensely like populated there in that region of those 3 places right there. This is the Sefer Christi I'm reading from. It's this is actually a cover that I purchased for it, but it's called the Sefer. It's a Bible, clearly, but they've added the Apocrypha back into it, and they also restored. They said some of the original names in here. They put the name of Yahuwah back in here, which was the biggest thing, right? But also like the original names of the people. But to me, it still doesn't seem like it's the original name, because it's still like Yiddish. The names are really more, they are Bantu, so it, but to me, it reads like the King James Version, but it just kind of takes out the thus thou arts, and it gives you the modern terms like the, you, me, we, and stuff. So it's easy to read, but some of the names I still be chopping and screwing up rather badly. So, all right. And so that was it. Yeah. So yeah, it's actually the cover. Hold on, let me just check. Yeah, the cover actually looks just like the actual book cover. Actually looks just like this. The cover they made, I got the one. So if you see it, you will see it without the cover, but the actual book cover still looks just like this. So even if I took this off, you will still see that same picture, but it's just a all black cover with that same image on the front of the cover that's on the actual Bible. Okay. You can actually get it I got mine from Amazon, but I know they was going in and out of them on Amazon. I mean, they were like $100. But if they're still out of them, you can actually go to, I believe it's Cepher.net, CEPHER. I think it's Cepher.net. Or anyway, just Google Cepher Bible and it'll pull it up, right? So and you can order it directly from there. Okay. Flee the shadow of this world. Receive the joyfulness of your glory. I testify my Savior openly. Oh, receive the gift that is given you and be glad, giving thanks unto him that has led you to the heavenly kingdom. Arise up and stand. Behold, the number of those that be sealed in the feast of YAHUAH, which are departed from the shadow of the world and have received glorious garments of YAHUAH. Take your number, O Zion, and shut up those of yours that are clothed in white, which have fulfilled the Torah of YAHUAH. Look, this definitely sounds like Revelation, y'all. If you're familiar with the book of Revelation, I read this again. Take your number, O Zion, and shut up those of yours that are clothed in white, which have fulfilled the Torah of YAHUAH. The number of your children whom you long for is fulfilled. Beseech the power of YAHUAH that your people, which have been called from the beginning, may be hallowed. I, Ezra, saw upon Mount Zion a great people whom I could not number, and they all praised YAHUAH with songs. And in the midst of them there was a young man of high stature, taller than all the rest, and upon every one of their heads he set crowns, and was more exalted, which I marveled at greatly. So I asked the angel and said, Sir, what are these? He answered and said unto me, These be they that have put off the mortal clothing and put on the immortal. And they have confessed the name of YAHUAH. Now they are crowned and receive palms. And y'all read Revelation? Y'all should probably go read it. This is exactly where it comes from. We're going to take this. We'll create another book. We'll just add some of this stuff in here and we'll stick it back in the back. There actually was a controversy where they weren't going to put Revelation in the Bible. Then after all the consensus was taken, they finally took their vote. They decided to add it in, and they just put it at the very back of the canonization books. Then said I unto the angel, What young person is it that crowns them and give them palms in their hands? So he answered and said unto me, It is the Son of YAHUAH, whom they have confessed in the world. Okay, so don't get chopped and screwed. Remember, we are the son of YAHUAH, right? As we teach the nations properly who he is, it is us, if you look at it that way, it is us who are like setting crowns upon their head as they begin to understand, right? Okay, so just keep it all in context. Remember, think about when you read this, just think about the visions that Daniel was having. Even when he was having dreams, he will always see a figure or a one person, one that looks like the Son of Man. Okay, who is this? But if you read the interpretation of the dream, just a few sentences down, it explains who that single person in his dream that he saw. The single person represented the entire nation of Israel, because the interpretation said these are the saints, right? And Yahuwah began to set up the wrongs, and they began to rule. It's not one, the entire nation of Israel. I just feel like I always need to repeat that. I probably don't, but just in case you don't read it as much as I do, where you actually catch that, like, oh, like, how did I skip this all these years? And it says it right here in plain English. Okay. Then began I greatly to commend them that stood so stiffly for the name of YAHUAH. Then the angel said unto me, Go your way and tell my people what manner of things and how great wonders of YAHUAH Eloheka you have seen. 4th Ezra chapter 3. Hey, Auntie. In the 30th year after the ruin of the city, I was in Babel, and I lay troubled upon my bed, and my thoughts came over my heart. For I saw the desolation of Zion, and the wealth of them that dwell at Babel, and my spirit was sore moved, so that I began to speak words full of fear to El Elyon, and said, O YAHUAH Adonai, you spoke at the beginning when you did plant the earth, and that by yourself alone, and command the people. Hold on. Let me read that again. O YAHUAH Adonai, you spoke at the beginning, and when you did plant the earth, and that by yourself alone, right? Remember, Yahuwah said, I am the only one who was there in the beginning, right? There was no one with me. Everybody knew this. This was a common thing until recently, about 2,000 years ago, right? Everything began to change a little bit, right? The Jedi mind tricks, but all the prophets, all the previous generations, even those who fought against us knew that Yahuwah was only one. I am one, right? There was nobody there with me in the beginning. If there was, I know not one. I am the only Savior, right? Okay. O YAHUAH Adonai, you spoke at the beginning when you did plant the earth. You spoke at the beginning when you did plant the earth, and that by yourself alone, and command the people, and gave a body unto Adam without soul, which was the workmanship of your hands, and did breathe into him the breath of life, and he was made living before you, and you led him in paradise, which your right hand had planted before ever the earth came forward. And unto him you gave commandment to love your way, which he transgressed, and immediately you appointed death in him and in his generations, of whom came nations, tribes, people, and kindreds out of number. And every people walked after their own will, and did wonderful things before you, and despised your commandments. And again, in the process of time, you brought the flood upon those that dwelt in the world, and destroyed them. And it came to pass in every one of them that as death was to Adam, so was the flood to these. Nevertheless, one of them you left, namely Noah, with his household, of whom came all righteous men. And it happened that when they dwelt upon the earth, and it happened that when they that dwelt upon the earth began to multiply, they had gotten them many children, and were a great people, and began again to be more wicked than the first. Now, when they lived so wickedly before you, you did choose you a man from among them, whose name was Abraham. Him you loved, and unto him only you showed your will, and made an everlasting covenant with him, promising him that you would never forsake his seed. And unto him you gave Isaac, and unto Isaac you also gave Jacob and Esau. As for Jacob, you did choose him to you, but put by Esau, and so Yaakov or Jacob became a great multitude. And it came to pass that when you led his seed out of Mitzrayim or Egypt, you brought them you brought them up to the Mount Sinai, and bowing the heavens, you did set fast the earth, moved the whole world, and made the depths to tremble, and troubled the men of that age. And your glory went through 4 gates of fire, and of earthquake, and of wind, and of cold, that you might give the Torah unto the seed of Yaakov or Jacob, and diligence unto the generation of Yasharel or Yisolili. And ye took ye not away from them a wicked heart, that your Torah might bring forth fruit in them. For the first Adam, bearing a wicked heart, transgressed and was overcome. And so be all they that are born of him. Thus infirmity was made permanent. And the Torah also in the heart of the people with the malignity of the root, so that the good departed away, and the evil abode still. So the times passed away, and the years were brought to an end. Then did you raise up a servant called David, whom you commanded to build a city unto your name, and to offer incense and oblations unto you therein. When this was done many years, then they that inhabited the city forsook you, and in all things did even as Adam and all his generations had done. For they also had a wicked heart. And so you gave your city over into the hands of your enemies. Are their deeds then any better that are their deeds then any better that inhabit Babel, that they should therefore have the dominion over Zion? For when I came thither and had seen impieties without number, then my soul saw many evildoers in this 30th year, so that my heart failed me. For I have seen how you suffer them sinning, and have spared the wicked doers, and have destroyed your people, and have preserved your enemies, and have not signified it. I do not remember how this way may be left. Are they then of Babel better than they of Zion? Or is there any other people that knows you besides Yasharel or Yisolili? Is there anybody else that you gave your word to besides us? How is it that they prosper and we die out? Right? That's pretty much what he asked. He said, are they better than us? Did you lie to us and actually speak to them and give them your words? Then how is this happening? Auntie. Or is there any other people that knows you besides Yasharal? Or what generation has so believed your covenant as Jacob? And yet their reward appears not, and their labor has no fruit. For I have gone here and there through the heathen, and I see how they flow in wealth, and think not upon your commandments. Weigh therefore our wickedness now in the balance. And there's also that dwell in the world. And so shall your name nowhere be found but in Yasharal. Like you can go search, weigh us together, and you will find that only your name is found in us, right? So he going through a thing here. Or when was it that they which dwell upon the earth have not sinned in your sight? Or what people have so kept your commandments? You shall find that Yasharel by name has kept your precepts, but not the heathen. All right, y'all. So last chapter for today, 4th Ezra chapter 4. This is 52 verses. Okay. And the angel that was sent unto me, whose name was Uriel, gave me an answer and said, your heart has gone too far in this world, and think you to comprehend the way of El Elyon? Then said I, yea, my Lord. And he answered me and said, I am sent to show you 3 ways, and to set forth 3 similitudes before you, whereof if you can declare me one, I will show you also the way that you desire to see, and I will show you from whence the wicked heart comes. This is good. I love, and Yahuwah still does this, right? Like we'll ask him a question. Sometimes he won't necessarily give us an outright answer. Like some people like, just give me the answer. You ain't got to go through all that. Why are you getting all these examples and stuff? Yahuwah does the same thing, right? He always giving us some kind of scavenger hunt dream where we got to figure it out, right? Because he realized a lot of time if you just give people stuff, it's this principle that's working. Sometimes if you just give people stuff, sometimes they don't necessarily take it as their own and I identify with it, and they just kind of like take it and toss it on the shelf like it's a common thing. But when you work for it, and you actually got to go looking, now you can kind of own it a little bit. You can own it a lot. You can own it, I say 99%, because the other 1%, Yahuwah just dropped it on you. Let's see if you figure this out, right? He'll guide you along the way as you start moving towards it, right? Like you'll get to see what's in that box, that gift he gave you, as you begin to start unwrapping it, right? But as long as you just take that gift and set it up on the shelf, or this puzzle, leave it all scattered in a billion pieces in a box, we'll never see what's to come, right? We can tell the outside picture says something beautiful, but we have to put the pieces together, right? It's the same thing. And so the angel came, Ezra asking y'all all of this. Y'all's like, here, go down there. Give him this scavenger hunt puzzle. Let him figure it out. He said, I am sent to show you 3 ways. And if you can figure out this, then I answer your questions, right? It's like, how serious? Not that Yahuwah don't want to just give us an answer, but a lot of time it doesn't. We don't get like that aha moment until we get it. And a lot of times we have to see different examples and hear people explain it in different ways, but they're explaining the same thing. The teacher, their personality is explaining it in a different way. And then once one of them click, all of them began to click. Oh, y'all all was saying the same thing. Oh, I get it. Right? Okay, that's all right. And the angel that was sent unto me, whose name was Uriel, gave me an answer and said, your heart has gone too far in this world, and think you to comprehend the way of El Elyon? Then said I, yea, my Lord. Just give me the answer. Yeah. And he answered me and said, I am sent to show you 3 ways, and to set forth 3 similitudes before you, whereof, if you can declare to me one, I will show you also the way you desire to see. And I shall show you from whence the wicked heart comes. And I said, tell on, my Lord. Then said he unto me, mind you, he not calling the angel Lord, and he not worshiping. I know y'all get that, but just in case some people may watch this, what you calling the angel Lord? What kind of blasphemy are you reading from? It's like that same type of talking lingo back in the day. If you ever watch King Arthur movies, you know, when kingdoms and stuff, my liege or my lord, this is what they're saying. Like, okay, man, tell me what. Like today was like, all right, man, tell me, you know. But he said, okay, my Lord, tell me, right? Whereof, if you can declare me one, I will show you also the way that you desire to see, and I will show you from whence the wicked heart comes. And I said, tell on, my Lord. Then he said unto me, go your way, weigh me the weight of the fire, or measure me the blast of the wind, or call me again the day that is past, or call me again the day that is past. And I know he was looking at him like, no, this virgin didn't. Go weigh fire, huh? Weigh fire. What's the other one? Measure the wind. You playing with me? Look. And I said, tell on, my Lord. Then he said unto me, go your way, weigh me the weight of the fire, or measure me the blast of the wind, or call me again the day that is past. Like, go into tomorrow. Go into yesterday. Like, we only live in today. Even if it's yesterday or tomorrow, I can only be present in today. You want me to bring you back into yesterday? Measure the wind and weigh the fire, huh? How was this answering my question? You playing games with me? Put me directly through to your manager, please. Then I answered and said, what man is able to do that you should ask such things of me? And he said unto me, if I should ask you how great dwellings are in the midst of the sea, or how many springs are in the beginning of the deep, or how many springs are above the expanse, or which are the outgoings of paradise, perchance you would say unto me, I never went down into the deep, nor as yet into Sheol, neither did I ever climb up into heaven. Nevertheless, now have I asked you, but only of the fire and the wind, and of the day wherethrough you have passed. Like, you already been there. Take me back to where you've been, right? And it's just like, well, the first time I read this, I'm like, who would ask such questions? Like, who would even think to ask these type of questions? Like, humans, we don't do this type of thinking. Weigh fire. Who has ever weighed fire? Capture the wind. We can't even see the wind. We can tell which way it blows if we understand north, south, east, and west. But they even screwed that up, flipped it upside down, and twisted it around. So we don't know from which way the wind coming. We can just say it's blowing this way on this side of my face. You tell, oh, what's your name again? Uriel? Okay. All right. I'm listening to see how you're going to answer my question. Look. Hold on. Perchance you would say unto me, I never went down into the deep, nor as yet into Sheol, neither did I ever climb up into heaven. Nevertheless, now I have asked you only but of the fire and the wind, and of the day wherethrough you have passed, and of these things from which you cannot be separated, and yet can you give me no answer of them. He said, moreover unto me, your own things, and such as are grown up with you, can you not know? How should your vessel then be able to comprehend the way of El Elyon, and the world being now outwardly corrupted, to understand the corruption that is evident in my sight? I'm like, first of all, wait, what did you just say? Say that again. Say it again 3 times. Say it 3 times again fast, because I don't know what you just said to me. Let me read this again. It's sometimes I read them like, they put words together so good. Like, yo, look, hold on. He said, like, when somebody said something to, and this was Ezra, right? Ezra, the scribe, the priest scribe, that the nations upheld. This is the man of the most holy God of heaven. I'm sorry, I say God again. The most holy one of Israel, who created the heaven. This Ezra, right? And Ezra's looking like a kid that's just about to enter preschool, right? Like, he's sitting there like completely dumb, like, what? What type of words are these? What are you asking me? At least when I was reading it, those are my thoughts. I'm like, wait, what? What'd you just ask? He said, moreover unto me, your own things, as such as are grown up with you, can you not know? How should your vessel then be able to comprehend the way of El Elyon, and the world being now outwardly corrupted, to understand the corruption that is evident in my sight? Then said I unto him, it were better that we were not at all, than that we should live still in wickedness, and to suffer, and not to know wherefore. He answered me and said, I went into a forest, into a plain, and the trees took counsel, and said, come, let's go and make war against the sea, that it may depart away before us, and that we may make us more woods. The floods of the sea also in like manner took counsel, and said, come, let us go up and subdue the woods of the plain, that there also we may make us another country. The thought of the wood was in vain, for the fire came and consumed it. The thought of the floods of the sea came likewise to naught, for the sand stood up and stopped them. If you were judged now betwixt these two, whom would you begin to justify, or whom would you condemn? I answered and said, truly, it is a foolish thought that they both have devised, for the ground is given unto the wood, and the sea also has place to bear his floods. Then answered he me and said, you have given a right judgment, but why judge you not yourself also? For like as the ground is given unto the wood, and the sea to his floods, even so they that dwell upon the earth may understand nothing but that which is upon the earth. And pass right out. Like, you keep hitting me with these words of wisdom that seem like common sense coming from your mouth, but it's making me feel so dumb, right? Look. For like as the ground is given unto the wood, and the sea to his floods, even so they that dwell upon the earth may understand nothing but that which is upon the earth. And he that dwells above the heavens may only understand the things that are above the height of the heavens. Then answered I and said, I beseech you, O YAHUAH, let me have understanding. For it was not my mind to be curious of the high things, but of such as pass by us daily, namely, wherefore Yasharal Yisolili is given up as a reproach to the heathen, and for what cause the people whom you have loved is given over unto wicked nations, and why the Torah of our forefathers is brought to naught, and the written covenants come to no effect. And we pass away out of this world as grasshoppers, and our life is astonishment and fear, and we are not worthy to obtain mercy. What will he then do unto his name whereby we are called? Of these things I have asked. Then answered he me and said, the more you search, the more you shall marvel. For the world hastens fast to pass away, and cannot comprehend the things that are promised to the righteous in the time to come. For this world is full of unrighteousness and infirmities. But as concerning the things you have asked me, I will tell you. For the evil is sown, but the destruction thereof is not yet come. If therefore that which is sown be not turned upside down, and if the place where the evil is sown pass not away, then cannot it come that is sown with good. For the grain of the evil seed has been sown in the heart of Adam from the beginning. And how much wickedness has it brought up until this time? And how much shall yet bring forth, and how much shall it yet bring forth until the time of the threshing come? Ponder now by yourself how great fruit of wickedness the grain of evil seed has brought forth. Like, just think about this yourself, how much evil that one grain of wickedness has brought forth, and we are seeing being harvested throughout the world. Just one seed of wickedness, right? He said, but it has to come to the fullness. Sin has to reach its heights. Otherwise, the good seed that was sown, it won't be able to reproduce, right? Ponder now by yourself how great fruit of wickedness the grain of evil seed has brought forth. And when the ears shall be cut down, which are without number, how great a floor shall they fill? Then I answered and said, how and when shall these things come to pass? Wherefore are our years few and evil? And he answered me, saying, do not you hasten above El Elyon. Yet do not you hasten above El Elyon, for your haste is in vain to be above him, for you have much exceeded. Did not the souls also of the righteous ask question of these things in their chambers, saying, how long shall I hope on this fashion? When comes the fruit of the floor of our reward? Like, you ain't the only one. We got souls that's died and are resting in Sheol that are crying out, how long, O Lord, will these things continue to go on? How long before your righteous judgment hits this place, right? He said, but don't get ahead of y'all. He said the evil seed has to come to the fullness of measure so he can reap one last time, right? Look, did not the souls also of the righteous ask question of these things in their chambers, saying, how long shall I hope on this fashion? When comes the fruit of the floor of our reward? And unto these things Uriel the archangel gave them answer and said, even when the number of seeds is filled in you, for he has weighed the world in the balance. By measure he has measured the times, and by number he has numbered the times, and he does not move nor stir them until the said measure be fulfilled. So while everybody doing all this extra anxious running all around, Yahuwah has seen the end from the very beginning. He has weighed the world in the balance, and he's letting it grow up. He ain't getting scared and jumping all over the place when somebody say Rona or World War III, all these things. He's sitting back just watching it because he know how it's going to end, what's going to happen until the time of the great harvest, right? Right, okay. He ain't scared like we be scared sometime down here. He just sitting back. Oh, okay. Let them know this. Tell them I said chill out. They all right? No matter what they look like, how scary that looks, tell them they all right? As long as they stay right here, stay on the path that I carved out for them, all that'll bypass. Now, maybe they may experience some of the storms and stuff what they're going through. It's going to look scary. But if they just keep on moving, tell them they're going to be all right. It's going to lead to me. Just tell them, but just walk through the woods. You're going to be all right. Stay on the path. Walk through the woods, right? Keep the light. Don't let go of the light. Then answered I and said, oh, YAHUAH Adonai, we are, hold on. Did I skip? Hold on, let me go back to 37. I didn't. I just felt like I skipped something, but I didn't. But I'm going to go back to 37 anyway. By measure, he has measured the times, and by number, he has measured the times, and he does not move nor stir them until the said measure be fulfilled. Then answered I and said, O YAHUWAH Adonai, we all are full of sin, and for our sakes, perchance, it is that the floors of the righteous are not filled, because the sins of them that dwell upon the earth. So he answered me and said, go your way to a woman with child, and ask of her when she has fulfilled her 9 months, if her womb may keep the birth any longer within her. Then I said, no, Adonai, that she cannot. And he said unto me, in Sheol, the chambers of souls are like the womb of a woman. For like as a woman that travails and makes haste to escape the necessity of travail, even so do these places hasten to deliver those things that are committed unto them. Say that again. What? What? And you use a pregnant woman. Like, see how the example is getting clearer and clearer with each example YAHUAH gives. Sometimes people be like, girl, you talk too much, just get to the point. But sometimes we need stories to help us visualize and see the point along the way. He said these souls are just like a pregnant woman in travail, right? Even though she may want to, think about it, pregnant women know this all too well, right? He said, now you go and ask a woman who has born children. You go ask her this question, right? Somebody in your space, in your time that you can see on your timeline. Go pick any one of them that has given birth to children, and you ask them, when it was time to give birth to that child, could you hold it in any longer? Like, we have no control. Well, with technology, you can override the principles of nature, right? Because you can go in and get a C-section or be induced, and they can kind of forward the process a little bit. But if you let nature take its course, that baby is going to come, right? But here in America, they've kind of cut it down to like that 9 months. They may let you go over 2 weeks, right? So, but in other nations, sometimes and it blew my mind that some women were pregnant like 10 months. I'm like, what? But the baby eventually comes, right? So when it gets to the fullness of its measure, when the baby has had everything that it needed to grow, and when it's ready to break forth out of the matrix, it comes. And there is nothing the woman, its host, could do to stop it. Nothing. That baby is coming, right? Look, let's go back. We go back. Verse 40. So he answered me and said, go your way to a woman with child, and ask of her when she has fulfilled her 9 months, if her womb may keep the birth any longer within her. Then said I, no, Adonai, that she cannot. And he said unto me, in Sheol, the chambers of souls are like the womb of a woman. For like as a woman that travails makes haste to escape the necessity of the travail. It's like, oh my gosh, the pain. Give me an epidural. It's like it's like we want to skip the labor part and just get right to the give me the baby. Take this thing out of me, right? And say you cannot escape this. And although technology and medicine has made it so it seemed like we escaping the pain, but it's actually doing a little more damage to it really is. And I know from personal experience of getting epidurals, I'm one of them type of ones. I don't want to go through the pain. I need to get here before this major contraction hits where the baby is coming and they don't have a chance to give me the medicine, right? And by doing that, and I had 6 kids, y'all. Look, by doing that, I think it really, I think that's like one of the majors, not necessarily, but it's right there, like my sciatic nerve and stuff. And the reason why I've had a lot of issues with my back and my hip, because the babies that I carry, they're all so big. And as I get bigger, they lay on my nerve to where when I get to about 7 months, that sciatic pain start kicking in because your body is preparing itself to give birth, so things are opening up, things are spreading, and the baby is heavy and it's sitting on the nerve, and it's like you can't get comfortable whatsoever. You can't lay sleeping. Like I couldn't sleep laying on my back. On my left side, I couldn't sleep. Even when I slept on my right side, the pain was still there, but it was a little bit less than all the other positions. It was hard to breathe. It's like, oh my gosh, this day, can they tell them, I'm coming today, Miss Murphy. Listen, don't come back here. The baby is not ready. You're only 8 months. That's a little bit exaggeration, but in my 9th month, in my 9 months, I be doing the most. They be seeing me like 10 times in 1 week. Miss Murphy, one time they told me, they said, Miss Murphy, don't come back here until your contractions are so bad that you can't stand up. Like you literally need to be on the floor, on your knees, screaming. Don't come back to us until then. I'm like, what? It's going to get that bad. I'm like, how soon do I need to be here to get the epidural? Right. And so when I think that one doctor screwed me up. So I was like, listen, we need to hurry up and get there. I'm due here. Yeah, we need to start going the week of my due date so we can make sure I get in there in time enough. Have my room ready. Miss Murphy, your room is ready. Come on. Like they'll call me. They do that now, with not just me. That was a little bit of exaggeration. But they will. I say, look, y'all need to call me. My cell phone number. Let me know when who in there you need to clean up Tasha's room. Let me know. So look, I'll come and sit and wait. I'll watch them clean Tasha's room. I just need to make sure I'm there. Call the anesthesiologist. Let them know I'm back again. Okay. For like as a woman that travails makes haste to escape the necessity of the travail. I was doing everything to escape the necessity of travail, right? For like as a woman that travails makes haste to escape the necessity of travail, even so do these things hasten to deliver those things that are committed unto them. For from the beginning, it's from the beginning, look what you desire to see. It shall be showed you. Then answered I and said, if I have found favor in your sight, and if it be possible, and if I be meet therefore, show me then whether there be more to come than is past, or more past than is to come. Excuse me. What is past, I know, but what is for to come, I know not. And he said unto me, stand up upon the right side, and I shall expound the similitude unto you. So I stood and saw, and behold, a hot burning oven passed by before me. And it happened that when the flame was going by, I looked, and behold, the smoke remained still. After this, there passed by before me a watery cloud, and sent down much rain with a storm. And when the stormy rain was past, the drops still remains. The drops remained still. Then said he unto me, consider with yourself, as the rain is more than the drops, and as the fire is greater than the smoke, but the drops and the smoke remain behind. So the quantity which is past did more exceed. Then I prayed and said, may I live, do you think, until that time? Or what shall happen in those days? He answered me and said, as for the tokens whereof you ask me, I may tell you of them in part. But as touching your life, I am not sent to show you, for I do not know it. And that is where we pause today. It's getting good, y'all. It's getting good. Hezekiah, shalom. Mom, shalom, shalom. That's good, y'all, right? That's what I say. We got to read through this again. All right. So we have 52 minutes again today. At least we're not as far into the hour mark, but it's Saturday too, so we can take a little bit more time today, y'all. But if you gotta go still, some people still do have to work today. But if you have to go to work, get out of here. This is recorded. You come back and pick it up in 52 minutes or 53 minutes now. Okay. No, we still live, Hezekiah. This is not the replay. This is actually the live. I guess you thought this was the replay. Nope, this is the live today. So the replay will be up shortly. Well, yeah, it should say live. I'm not sure what it said on your end, but this is definitely the live still. Okay. All right. So we on Thursday, page 128. Okay, yeah. So the last thing we looked at was this picture of the Egyptian sun worship, and they got a picture right beside of it, what we see in the church or in the Catholic Church, right? I'm gonna show you the picture again, and it has monstrance. The first picture has the Egyptian sun worship. Okay, right here. So this is what they saw back in the day, but it still took it like they this same pagan type worship, which clearly we've been talking about for weeks now, it's reformulated, so to speak, to look different to the masses. And this is what it looks like today. It's the same thing this is. It's under a new guise and a new name: Pope, Catholicism, Christianity, Islam, all of that stuff. It's all of that mixed and chopped up and screwed, and you take this portion and give it to them, and you take this portion and give it to them. But everybody's still worshiping Nimrod, right? Okay. Oh, the scripture reading portion. Okay. Well, maybe your body needed the rest. Okay, so we're going to start reading on page 129. Okay, it's another picture. Okay. Picture above are Egyptian priests honoring an image of the sun that looks very solar. And you probably saw it, but your attention was probably on the other page. Okay, so right here. If you have the book, you can see it clearer, but I know it sometimes when I'm showing it, at least on YouTube, looks a little clear when I show it. Facebook looks a little more blurry to me from my screen. So I try to zoom it in and out for you so you can see. And I always put the link whenever whatever books we're reading from, along with our scripture reading, I'll always put the link where you can get it from Amazon. If Amazon doesn't have the book, I'll put like their site or whatever. But because I trust Amazon and we use Amazon a lot. So anytime somebody mentions something, I'll always go to Amazon first because I got to re-enter any kind of information. They got it, boom, send me one. So I give y'all the same link I purchased mine from. I don't make no money off of any of this stuff. I just share the resources and where I get it from. So if y'all want it, y'all can get it too. Okay. Picture above are Egyptian priests honoring an image of the sun that looks very solar. The priests in the picture below it are making offerings to an image that are also solar. The Roman Catholic monstrance pictured here looks very similar to these other images. Okay, so these two, let me show it again. Okay, so apparently in his original, I guess when they put it in book form, it kind of broke it up. So let's see. Okay, so these two were actually pictured together. That's why it says, can y'all, you not hearing me? Are you plugged in? Mom, that might be yours. Somebody text anybody that know my mama's. Text or type over here. I don't know. Tell her that might be her. Tell her restart her computer. I don't know if you can hear me. Okay, but these apparently they were like sitting right on top of each other. Either this was up here or this was down here. So when it says look above, it was referring to this. So these two pictures were stacked on each other and it said that this what's in here looks like what we see in here. Okay. I saw your text come through. Everything looks fine from my end. You may need to restart your computer or something. Somebody type in Miss Myers or Mom, restart your computer or something to refresh it. She might not be able to hear me. Okay, thank you, Auntie. All right. See, when you said the souls and Sheol crying out in Esdras, what actually did that mean? Sorry, I'm asking now. Oh yeah, and I gotta close it too. But I know what you're talking about. I would assume that's the people who have already passed away, So, okay. So I think, okay, what did that mean? Okay, so you're referencing Sheol to hell, what we hear in I'm just assuming it. So correct me if I'm wrong. Sheol means when you read scriptures, when it talks about Sheol, it's talking about the grave. So it says souls and Sheol crying out. It should have been like the souls who were in the grave crying out, like those who are dead and past. They are crying out because there's a couple different teachings about what hell and the grave really is. It's different from what the Old Testament teaches us. Not saying there isn't a literal hell. I'm not saying that, right? There is a place that Christendom refers to as hell. We read about in Enoch. Enoch goes into great detail talking about this place. People have had experiences and dreams that they've been there, or Yahuwah took them there. I don't know. That's not my experience. I'm not talking against it, saying it don't exist, because I really think it exists. That's what I understand. As up until this day, it exists, right? Enoch talks about it. They describe it, right? People who, I can't say, I don't know if they ever read the book of Enoch. Some of the dreams that they have had, it lines up with what I know to be in the book of Enoch. Like, they have dreams and maybe physical knowledge of being there. I only have book knowledge and revelation of what the scriptures say. Now, I don't necessarily want to go there to find out if it's true or not. You can tell me. I learn by learning from other people. And then I kind of go back and, okay, you say it's not real, but such and such had an experience. And this seems that he even had like physical manifestations in his body. Granted, the human bodies are absolutely amazing. And based on what we believe to be true or what we perceive to be true, things will manifest in our body, even if it's not true, right? So that's what I'm saying. The mind and the body is a powerful thing, so you have to keep control over this. You shouldn't let other people run wild with your imagination. You got enough trouble doing that yourself, keeping it together yourself. So we need to be diligent stewards of our own being and our own brain to make sure that the information that we take in here, and all the gates, the eye gates, the ear gates, the smells and stuff. Smells are powerful too, because if there's a traumatic experience happens and there's a smell that's in that place, every time, it could be 20, 30, 50 years down the line, every time you smell that, it will bring that memory back just as clear as day, just like it was happening at this very moment. So our body is more powerful than what a lot of people believe and what they truly understand, and the actual power we're able to tap into with these bodies. I've only tapped into it a little bit, but the whole hell portion and Sheol, I don't know. I ain't been dead before, and neither have I visited the place that Enoch talks about. I don't necessarily know that I want to, not even to teach about it, right? Let somebody else teach that course. I'm having no trouble trying to stay on the path of truth and make sure I ain't getting led away off into the woods somewhere, right? So there's people, Yahuwah has chosen people for that. So yeah, when I read now, she said, okay, I was thinking Sheol was eternal hell. Okay, it means the grave. Thank you. Yeah, it means the grave. Yeah, love, Mish, astral travel. Like some people talk about that. So when you say those type of words, they call it different things in different places, but I know it to be astral travel, or to travel with the spirit. That's the thing, y'all. That happens. And people can do it on purpose, right? If you understand how to control the bodies. Now, some people, they use it, and I experienced it. All right, babe. Everybody out there? Time to make the donuts. Call me if you need me.
I'll call you. Call me after you finish though.
Okay. All right. But let me say, I'm gonna be honest with y'all, right? So when I heard about this, let me save my place. Oh yeah, it's Saturday. Let me share this story with you. So as we were coming into the truth, right? As we're learning about different things that we knew growing up, clearly we know that there's an unseen world, right? Even if people don't believe in Yah or whatever, I'm like, okay, yeah, I could never go off to that end because I've experienced a lot of supernatural things in my life. So as I was coming out of the church and some of the doctrines and stuff, I began, as in my research, as I began to look up things, the astral travel stuff began to pop up. Based on the searches that I was doing, I started seeing, especially on YouTube, a lot of the astral travel popping up. So after a while, I started clicking. I was like, okay, what is it? I keep seeing astral travel stuff pop up. What is this? So as I began to look into it, I was like, oh, okay. So what they really talking about? And when I first started looking, I was like, oh, so they like had a vision, right? So they was taken into the spiritual realm, but it was like, no, my G, you like really leaving your body. And so I'm like, let me do more than looking into this. So I'm looking for proof. I'm still on guard. I'm like, okay, I want to make sure the demons ain't trying to lure me into something where I get stuck and I become demonically possessed. So I'm real careful about stuff like that, right? So I'm looking, and as I read more, I'm like, wait a minute, I've experienced that. When I was a Christian, I experienced that. Wait a minute, what? Wait, people are doing this on purpose? I thought like you just go to sleep and whenever Yahuwah takes your spirit, like some of these things like I experienced, like it's like out of body experiences. If you still don't understand what astral travel is, it's like experiences outside of the body. But you clearly know you're unconscious, but you're conscious. Like people can do it. A lot of times people who are ignorant of it, it happens when they fall asleep. Children astral travel a lot, and although they may call it different things, because while they're asleep, they call it your spirit leaving your body, but your spirit don't necessarily leave your body, otherwise you would die. But for the sake of conversation, so you can kind of get what we're saying, when you're in the dream state or you go to sleep, you can actually project your spirit outside of your body. Children do it a lot unconsciously and they just think it's a dream sometimes. But when they bring back information, it has me really paying attention, because I'm talking to be honest with y'all. I practiced it a little bit just to see. I'm like, Father, look, listen, hold on. Okay, so I'm learning. I said, if this is wrong, you need to help a sister. I said, but what they saying is true. And I experienced this. I said, so you mean to tell me we can like do this on purpose? And when I tried it a couple times, I called my sister. I said, Leisha, is she here? Because we talk. Me and my sister talk about this more than anybody else. Although my mom, we talked to her about it. We're kind of careful sometimes. We just want to make sure we ain't getting off of my mom, because my mom will reel us back in real quick, right? So it's okay, so we can kind of just bounce things off of each other without thinking each other is crazy. We're like each other's safe place, right? Not that our mom isn't, or like my husband, but we're more because of some things that we've experienced while we were growing up. Because even while growing up, even me and my sister, this particular sister, Alicia, we used to actually try this, not calling it astral projecting or anything like that. We used to actually go to sleep at night, because we used to share a room. We used to go to sleep at night holding hands so we can be in each other's dreams and tell each other about it when we woke up. Like we used to like practice this and try this, right? So as we got older and I started looking at this, I was like, wait a minute, we was trying to do this while we was kids, not understanding the terms that they call it now, but that's essentially what it is. So I was like, okay, I'm like, but you got to be careful. Let me tell you something. And I didn't back out of it because I was scared, but I backed out of it because it's a lot of freaking human beings that know how to astral project, and people do stuff in the unseen world that they can't get away with in the physical world because you'll go to jail, right? And I backed out of it, and I had to pray. I'm like, Father, I'm like, look, I was like, I know this is real now. I don't need to test it no more. I said, but whoever that was, I said, I need you to completely block this. Don't let them come into my house. Like, seriously, let me tell you what happens. A lot of times, based on my experience and what I tried, right? You know how some people say it's a witch riding your back, or they call it sleep paralysis, or some people say like a demon is holding them down or something, right? A lot of times, that could be true. It could be an unseen force, or what church people would call the demon. That could be true. But did you also know there could actually be a human being that's projecting their spirit onto you? It happened to me. You ever had, some people call them like wet dreams, or like this is crazy, y'all, but this is true. And I'm telling you from experience. People, I ain't telling y'all to go try this. Some people do this and you can't, okay, I don't know that I want to necessarily say it like that. I was going to say you can't necessarily violate any rules being in that realm, but you can, especially people who are just learning how to do it. Not saying you should make a practice of it, but hear what I'm saying. People actually astral project to go have sex with other people, which was crazy. So if you ever had an experience where you felt like it was like you was like conscious, like you half sleep, half woke, but I would always like, because it happened a couple of times, I'm like, what in the world just happened? And it feels like you're actually in the actual act of intimacy, like you're having sex, but clearly you're in bed, pajamas on, nothing but the effects of your body has happened, like you have actually physically engaged in that act. That happens in the astral realm, right? People can literally, let me tell you something. This is a lot of time it's new news, or it's not news. I ain't gonna say not news at all, but for people who are in the church world, a lot of times they are taught about it in a different way than what other sects and groups of people are taught, because people who are into like satanic worship, and they call themselves Wiccans, witches, warlocks, or whatever, they operate in this stuff all the time. And that's a lot of time how they can get the upper hand on people who are ignorant to what these bodies can really do and what is actually transitioning in this world right here. Now, I would tell anybody that start talking about this, I'm gonna just hold my tongue because I know it to be true. I may not engage into your conversation with you, just depending on who's there and who's listening. Not unless you ask me a question, but I'm still wise with what I say, because I know some people, they get like, what, we can do what? And they're gonna start trying, you can get yourself in trouble. So that's why it's kind of prefacing it a little bit. Because there are some things that happen in that realm, and I know it to be true. And people they literally can project themselves. Like some people practicing witchcraft, like that's real. Not that astral projecting is witchcraft, but you can use that mode of projecting your spirit. Like people, they were like, I'm gonna go astral project. Like, and there are ways you can actually sit and practice it. And it's not, and I'm gonna tell you about this in a second, but there are people who do it to take advantage of other people. Excuse me, there are people that do it to try and learn more about what's going on. And you can do it. And I didn't necessarily think YAHUAH had an issue with it. Not that I would practice it like I'm doing this thing, but I know it's there. I know it can be done. We'll just leave it right there for the moment, but there are some things you can use where you can pull it. Yeah, it can, Leisha said, it can be dangerous. You can pull information. I was just like, you know what, y'all, I know that's there. I said, and I don't know who this woman was that I saw run up in here. I said, but she needs to go. Get her out of here. I don't know whose spirit that is. I don't recognize her. That's when I was telling Leisha about it. I was like, yo, Leisha. I said, look, and I brought that up. You have to share with somebody. Like we share with each other just in case something get off. And we need somebody to know where we're at. So just in case I need help, go get somebody. Go get somebody. Exorcism or something, not saying I would go that far, but y'all get what I'm saying, right? So my sister's always the one we kind of can freely talk to one another. And if something seems off to one of us, like, wait a minute, hold on, but hold on, this goes against what y'all say. So we kind of go through things like that, but it can be very dangerous. I don't recommend practicing it, but I will say it can be used as a tool to gain information. I don't know that I would necessarily use that tool to gain information, to gain mastery over people, to rule people. I wouldn't use it that way. I would use it to gain information to help me grow. But I always, if I need that, I'll be like, first, y'all, I'm like, okay, just you have to help me understand what is crossing the line, because clearly we can do it and people are doing it. Like people who don't even profess you, they do it all the time like it's normal. And like they do, you can literally travel the world and see places that have been cut off from you. You can go back in time in different situations, and like if there's something going on in your family unit and you can't quite understand, you can actually, I ain't gonna say it because for the sake of conversation, you understand what I'm saying. You can go back to that situation that caused them to be where they're at, and the events will unfold for you so you can see the progression of how they got where they were at, so you can know how to kind of help them to unravel, especially if they're in a bad place, right? Some people you can do that, and sometimes YAHUAH will just reveal it to you. It's a couple different ways it can be done, because it's not just being, like I said, it's not just being done with YAHUAH's people, which leads me to believe it's a principle or something that's available to all, but it's just something that has been misused by a lot of people. And people who are actually learning about that, there are people there, just like there are people who are malicious in the physical realm. There are people who understand and know how to use the tool of astral projecting, and they're just as vicious in that realm as well. And that's what my sister said. It can be very dangerous because they can spot you. Like there is no distance in that realm. Like somebody in Texas could be astral projecting, and you could be here in Virginia or wherever it is, and it's like, and you can skip from one place in a matter of which would seem like seconds to us. Like you can think and you can be there in that realm. Like there's no time and distance in that realm, right? I don't necessarily think it's because that's before everything. That's how it was in the beginning. It was the physical realm and the spiritual realm, they were one. So Adam and Eve, they were able to transverse. It was like they were one. There wasn't any distance between those realms until sin came in, and it's now we're locked into the physical realm only, right? But as you begin to clean yourself up, and hopefully you take the right road back there where you can go in between the realms or whatever, you can pull information to help you when you need it. Guys, it gets deep if you want to say deep, but really it's not as deep as it only seems deep is because we've been lost from the information for so long and we didn't know. But that's how it's going to be as wickedness comes to a head and it's completely the worlds, they'll be merged again together, and we can freely, although we're in physical bodies, it's like we can operate in the spiritual realm, right? And there's things that we can see and we can do, and that's how you begin to live like eternally, right? Because before the sin, their bodies didn't die. They had a different type of body which was able to go through both worlds, kind of like I guess like the angels' bodies, right? Because the angels can go, it was like that, you can go in between both worlds, right? And it's like I ain't gonna say that because clearly you can still be harmed, but it's like that. That's the best way I can explain that, right? So I don't know, it's a lot of comments. I'm gonna come to them in a second. But yeah, so there you have to be careful. Like I'm not telling you to go practice it, but I'm letting you know that is there and it can be done. Like when I practiced, I was like, well, we was trying to do this when we was kids. So what I did, and I just did something simple, right? And I was like, this just simple, just to kind of see. And it's really nothing really harder. You don't have to go through any type of ritual, but once you understand the principle and what you're doing, you can just do it. So I told myself, I was like, look, I'm gonna try and project myself. I said, I ain't gonna I'm gonna just wait till I'm asleep, but I'm gonna go to sleep thinking about it, and I'm gonna try and project myself into my husband's dream. She said, girl, what you got? I was like, girl, I ain't gonna do nothing scary. I ain't gonna do. I said, I simply just want to test it, So what I did, I did it. I didn't do anything special. I'm just like, okay. I was like, Father, I want to test this principle. So I don't know. This is maybe, and I didn't say anything to my husband. I said, okay, let me something simple. Okay. I don't know, us sitting on the bed talking, just something like that. Right. So I literally just went to sleep. That's what I want to do, just to kind of test the principle. Went to sleep. I clearly had the dream. So I didn't know if it was like, okay, you think about something so much you go dream about it or whatever. But the real test would be is when I asked my husband what he dreamt about. Right. And so I went to sleep and that happened. And I had this dream where we were both sitting, my husband and I, we were sitting on the bed and was kind of sitting in this. I'm just sitting there talking, like friends would talk, whatever. And we were just sitting there talking. It was just something simple like that, just to kind of test it, because you got some people that say, oh, you got to do this and you got to do this. Like they give you long rituals. I'm like, that sounds scary. I ain't doing it. You got to go through all that. Nope, I'll pass. Right. And so the way I approach things, I'm like, Father, if this is really a true principle, if we can do this, I said, you have to teach me about this. I said, because there's some scary stuff out there and I don't want to get off. I said, so you're the creator of all things. If this is a thing that we can do, you will guide me. I said, I don't know any kind of rituals, neither do I want to follow a ritual. Just let me know. And that's just simply what I did. And so, like I said, went to sleep, had that little dream. And so when I woke up, and I wasn't scared to ask my husband, I was like, okay, how do I ask this? So as he was ironing his clothes that morning, I was like, how you sleep, babe? He said, I slept good. I said, dream about anything? He said, no. He said, no, wait a minute. And he was ironing. He said, yeah, I did. He said, I had a dream. We were sitting on the bed talking. I said, I said, for real? And he looked at me like, girl, what is wrong? I said, what was we talking about? He said, I don't know. We was we was right here. We were just sitting on the bed talking. I was like, okay. And I didn't want to get all into it. Like, it works. He was just like, okay. I said, it just blew my mind. I was like, because I kind of like had the same dream. He said, oh, that's interesting. You remember what we was talking about? I said, no, I don't. I just remember we were sitting on the bed and we was talking, like here in this house, in this room, on this bed. He was like, yeah, okay. And my husband, he just nonchalant. He wasn't about anything, nothing else about it. But I ran downstairs, called my sister, like, girl, look, it worked. She said, what? Tell me what it is. What happened? And so she was like, oh, okay. So that's just my little experiment that I did. There are some other things where I want to step out a little bit more just to kind of see. But people can, they use it for things. They'll use it to eavesdrop on you. Like, seriously, it can be really dangerous out there. So let me read some of these questions real quick. Okay. Wow, was that really a thing, being able to interact with each other in the dream world? Hezekiah asked. Yeah, clearly it is. The movie behind her eyes. Love me, she said, the movie behind her eyes. I'm not sure I quite understand. It was probably something, because I know your comment was early. You was probably responding to something that I said. See, Hezekiah said, it used to happen to me so often without me even wanting to know it. Now I'm used to it, but I ask y'all to keep me grounded after I come into the truth. Yeah, That's definitely the way to go, so we don't get off. Because some people they learn about it, and then it's like it completely pulls them away from y'all, and they begin to get into other stuff. I'm like, wait, what? So that's why I'm like, yeah, okay. I don't like go seeking after it to do it, but here is what I will share with you, and I think it's completely grounded. And it was somebody who learned about this, who is a scientific head. They're not religious in any type of way. They do believe that there is somebody who created everything, and everything didn't just happen by boom, like so like a great explosion or something. He's actually, excuse me, an engineer, right? So, and I read the book. It's actually called My Big Toe. I may have mentioned this before. That's what it's literally called, My Big Toe, like the big toe on your foot. That's what it's called. And write that down. I'll share it with you. I got the book and I downloaded the audio book. It's a 3-book trilogy. It's really long, and it has some scientific facts in there. It may lose you on that, but at the beginning, he's going to explain to you how he actually stumbled upon this and how it worked. And he said, if this is something really, and that's what actually, after listening to that, I'm like, well, okay. He didn't explain it from that. So I was like, this is literally a thing that humans can do. But he actually broke it down from a scientific standpoint. I was like, that's what I need data. Give me something. Don't have me out here willy-nilly and I didn't got into something I don't know how and understand. I can't bring myself back. And so, but the way he explained it is absolutely amazing. And you would think well, clearly it was YAHUAH. You have to get it. It's called the My Big Toe trilogy. And he goes through and he explains how it happened, because if you learn how to use this this principle or this tool that's available to us, you can actually use it. Like I said, you can use it and it can help you grow and excel in life, but without you cannot harm others, right? It's just like as you grow and you get more knowledge of things, you can't lord over people or use your knowledge and your wisdom over them to take advantage of them, right? You have to always keep y'all first and understand the principles and how we are not to defraud or harm one another, right? And so he breaks it down from a scientific standpoint and what actually happens, right? Because they went in a lab and all the exam room testing it. They even began to put when you go and doctors run tests and stuff. So they did a lot of tests and they tested themselves and different people, and they began to put things on them so they can track them. They're watching on the machines what happens when they go into the REM sleep, the different sleep cycles, when this actually happens. Can this happen outside of REM sleep? Different things like this, and it breaks it down. And as he began to learn about it, he said, well, we're just gonna have to try this, because right now I just have information, but I need to test it. And when he began to test it and realized it was true, he was like, oh my goodness. But what happened was, now he had like a solid base foundation on what this was that a lot of time couldn't be explained. People just kind of chalked it up to being something spiritual, a spiritual gift. He said, no, everybody can do this, especially if you know what it is and how to use it. You can use it on purpose, right? And that's what he began to do. He even began to excel in his work as an engineer, right? It talks about how you're able to go into that I guess you can call it like a meditation state or whatever, or just rest. You can learn actually how to rest your physical body, being in the spiritual realm, which when I began to read it, I began to think about some of the scriptures where YAHUAH say, enter into my rest, to where you won't really need a lot of physical sleep for your bodies. When you learn how to rest, if you learn how to use that tool, you can bring like a complete rest, and you can begin to like align your body to where it needs to be and literally bring wholeness to your body and heal yourself, right? If you understand these principles, it's like, okay, eating, there's like almost like different levels, so to speak. There's like a physical level where you can heal your body, and we have that the herbs are for the healing of the nations, these things here. But there's also another level to where you can do that. I wouldn't violate these physical rules. I would still have these physical rules working for me while my body is healing. But now that I understand the spiritual rules, I can now enter myself into a place of rest that will speed up what's going on in the natural. Guys, it blew my mind. I'm like, what? So you know me, Father, this true. I'm gonna test this. So help me, because I don't want to get off. I don't want to be out here looking like a nutcase, you know. But I'm tracking stuff. You know, I'm a data type person. I may not take as much details as other scientific people who that's their thing. That's what they do all the time. But I'm tracking, so I need to know where I'm at. How do we get here? Okay, so this didn't work. And this didn't work. This could not have worked because of one of these two things, because it was working up to this point. Okay, so this is the only two things we change, right? So it's one of these two things. So let's remove one of these things and see if it changes. And if it's not this, let's remove the other one. Put this one back in. Did it change? Boom, that was the problem. Let's remove this. Boom. I don't like to let myself get too far, not realizing what's working and what's not working. So when we change things, we'll change things 1, 2 max at a time, so you can track it, right? Same thing. But this book is really good. Now, the first book is called, I believe the first book is called My Big Toe. The first book is called Awakening. The second one is called Discovery. And the third one is, I forget the third one, but like I said, I'll post it so y'all can see it. And if you want to start listening to it now, My Big Toe. But it is really good, and it breaks down a lot of different things where to help you. I would, if you want to learn about astral projecting, I think My Big Toe, the trilogy, he has all the references and everything. And it's, like I said, it's a really good resource that backs up his studies, the medical things that they did, the data, all that stuff. He even got charts and graphs and what happened. This is that. That is good. And that'll give you, I think, a healthy, from the physical standpoint, where you can, I see people where you can comprehend with your brain here, right? Even if you're not super spiritual, not in tune with a lot of spiritual things, that'll help you comprehend here in the natural, so you can make a conscious decision and understand what's going on, right? Because sometimes people try to explain spiritual principles to us and they kind of go over our head and we're not grasping things. But I think My Big Toe, the trilogy, get the whole thing. And I've listened to the first book like 3 times, and it makes things so easy. But he also says, he talks about how, excuse me, how you can like do it on purpose. Like people who they'll astral project on purpose. You're like, okay, I'm gonna sit and do this. Like, and you don't even have, look, you don't have to even be in a sleep state to do it. Like if I wanted to astral project right now, I could literally just do it. Like if you understand the principles, and that's what it teaches you. But some people, as they're learning, they don't even know that the body can do that. They kind of stumble upon it and it happens to them while they're sleeping, or they go take a nap or something, right? So, but by doing this, he was able to speed up his learning, by understanding how that realm works and how you can actually bring things out of the spiritual realm and cause them to manifest in the natural, or information that you can't quite understand or grasp here in the natural. It can be uncovered and revealed to you in like seconds in this realm, and you can bring it back with you into the physical realm and cause it to manifest, which is how you can cause yourself to progress in life a lot faster and actually understand what your purpose is for being here and doing what you need to do here in this earth, right? And building whatever it is you're going to build, dynasty, help people, bring change to the world. Guys, the book is amazing. It's really good. There are a few other ones out there that people have listed, but I haven't checked out any of those. But yeah, so that's what I would say. If you want to look into astral projecting, get the My Big Toe trilogy. Take some time and go through it, and go through it with the scriptures. Like, because that's what I did, right? What YAHUAH says. After you remove the 11 and stuff that don't line up, okay. So we'll find out what's true and what's not, right? Based on action and acting things out and results, right? Okay, so with that being said, let's see. While we speaking on supernatural experiences, I never forget the force of y'all literally lifting me up out of the bed in the morning to open my eyes to the truth. Yeah, that's amazing. Later that day, I had a strong vision that prompted me to quit my job at the time, and it turned out to be the best thing that could have ever happened to me in the long run. Amen. Bless y'all. Urban Israelites say you can astral travel to the moon where thousands of chariots are hitting for the time of visitation. Okay, I ain't going that far. I'm just kind of like, I'm just learning that this stuff where, behind her, it's a movie. Okay, so my sister apparently knew what Love Mish was talking about. The movie Behind Her Eyes. She said Behind Her Eyes is a movie. Watch it. Thank you, Love Mish and Alicia. Yeah, I'm gonna look at that, Behind Her Eyes. Okay. Excuse me. I'm gonna watch that today. So let's see. Yah has opened so many doors and revealed so much truth to me since then. Amen. That's how humans communicated before words were used. Oh yeah, I don't. Yeah, you can actually. Thank you for that, Auntie. Even the book that I mentioned a little while ago, Black Root Science. It talks about that, right? Some people call it like ESP or whatever, but literally if you learn how to do that, it's an amazing tool to have in this earth. It really is. Yep, you can. Israelite, you can remote view, also see objects in different places. It's easy to do. You just have to practice it. It is. So a lot of those things I don't necessarily talk about up here unless it like comes up like it did today, and I can kind of expound on it a little bit because I know people that are wondering about it. And they was like, okay, am I getting off or whatever? But these, excuse me, I'll talk about it because I'm curious about it too. And I'm like, okay, well, Father, to help us out, can we do this? Can we not? Is this legal for us to do? Or is this only stuff like Satanists do? Because I don't want to be found to be doing something. But if it's something, here's what I found. What I found out is the information that, I'm not going to say all the information, but some of the information that is openly practiced in the satanic groups and stuff like that, a lot of this stuff is natural principles that they have kind of cut off from the masses or kind of help to cut off, kind of erase it from you. Remember, oh no, don't do that. That's how the devil see. Only Satanists do this. That's how they get the upper hand on a lot of sweet Jesus professing people, right? Like, oh no, that's Satan worship, when it's not at all. They're just taking principles and gifts and using them and hoarding them to themselves because they know if you also knew how to use this and it's available to everybody, they wouldn't be getting away with most of the stuff they're getting away with on people, even from stealing even things in the physical, your land, your property, your jobs position, all these things, crafty ways to get the things that you have. You can pull that from that realm, right? Because you can see things clearly. You can see things. I'm not going to say you can like see into the future, but some of my dreams or some of the things that I've seen, you can see ahead of time and kind of adjust their like warnings. I've seen things where warnings that we kind of just, oh, wait a minute. Nope, don't go there today. I saw this happening, and then it'll happen, right? It may not happen exactly like I said or whatever, but something happened to where clearly that was a warning and we kind of bypassed that catastrophe. So yeah, it really is. And you got some people up there, they showing you different ways to practice it and stuff. And it can, but I would just say don't blindly make sure you got a good teacher. Like I said, and I recommended something because I know some people they can go try it. So I recommended a good source with references that'll kind of walk you along the way. And it's not necessarily here's how you astral project, but it's kind of like going to class and you go into class to learn how to do this thing. But you got a teacher that's teaching you all bookwork and like, no, get to the good. We want to hear the good stuff. That's why I recommend this because this is a thorough teacher and he's going to give you everything to make sure you are not going into it blindly. And he'll show you how to do some of those things and you can just practice it, right? Not that it's witchcraft or anything, but you get the book and you'll see what I'm talking about. He shows the medical experiments, the examples, the charts, even the ones that he's done on himself. He actually talks about a time where he went through, he said, because children do it naturally. And he goes through and he explains how that happened with children. Children aren't bogged down with a lot of garbage that we are, and their minds are still untainted for the most part, and they do it all the time. And once I read, I was like, oh, well, let me try this, So I didn't say anything to my children, but I would notice it in some of some people think they're dreams, but clearly I knew what was happening. When I fall asleep or whatever, because I didn't want to like do it. It's too much stuff going on during the day to try and practice it while I'm awake. But when I go to sleep at night, I pray. I'm like, Father, okay, now this is what I want to say. I'm just testing this principle. And so when everybody in the bed or whatever, we'll test it or whatever. But literally, my children, they'll be out. One night I said, where y'all want to go? Let's go to, I talked to all of them. I said, in our dreams, we're going to go somewhere. Where you want to go? And they said, I don't know. Maybe. And they thinking, I said, and I just thought of something. I said, I don't know. Let's go I don't know. Let's just walk around the neighborhood or something. I didn't, I'm still just trying to test it, something with the kids or whatever. I didn't want to like input thoughts into their mind or whatever. Mommy, but what happened was when I fell asleep. Yes, baby girl.
You said when I was ready to get a snack on your car.
A what? A snack on my car?
No, I mean a snack on a shop.
You want to get a snack from a shop? Oh, okay. We'll talk about that in a second. So, but like when they go to sleep and kid, they had dreams and stuff. Sometimes I still kind of liken it. Maybe they're just having very vivid dreams or whatever. But they'll go describing stuff and where they've been. I'm like, well, that's a real interesting dream. But one of them, and I only tried it I want to say twice. So clearly I know Josh, my 10-year-old, we was walking around the house talking or whatever. We were asleep, but we were walking around the house talking, and then we walk outside and things like that. And then wake up, well, what you dream about? Oh, we was walking around the house talking. Then we went outside. I'm like, it's crazy, y'all. So I'm not trying things like other people. Well, I'm gonna go over here to here. I move a little slower than some people, right? Because I need to test to make sure, and I definitely don't want to get off teaching something to my children that might hurt them or lead them in the wrong way. So I move a little slow. I make sure I put my references, and we practice little small things. Stay safe, close to the house, right? But also, like I said, with warnings and stuff, one time, and this is I ain't gonna say it's private, but you can kind of see those things. Warnings, because sometimes our children in the middle of the night, they're coming to our room, right? And we sleep in light clothes, right? So sometime in the midst of sleeping, things may shift and you might find yourself uncovered one night. And I this night I said, thank you, y'all, Mom, for the warning. Mom. Yes, baby girl. Yes.
Why that on?
What?
Why that on?
It's the refrigerator. Okay, so I don't necessarily know that this was astral projecting, but I was asleep and in a dream I saw my husband. He said, "Cover yourself. The kid's about to come into the room." So and I immediately woke up and realized that the top part of my sleep, my satin sleep thing had shifted and I was uncovered. No sooner than I adjusted myself, then my husband was still asleep, but I immediately woke up. And I adjusted myself, and lo and behold, here comes Joshua into our bedroom. I'm like,
Mom.
I'm like, what is going on? I'm like, Father, first of all, thank you.
Mom.
But that
Mommy,
is, yes.
Dad, wake up first.
No, I woke up first. I woke up first too. So, but even things like this, that realm will warn you. If you become sensitive to it and you understand what's going on,
Mom.
You can actually interact with that realm. Baby girl, I'm almost done.
Me and Dad and you and us just go to sleep together, and that's just open us eyes.
Yeah, you like to sleep in our bed a lot. Okay. All right, y'all. So, but yeah, that's and I'll end that there. That's my take on it. It's an actual thing and you can do it, but it can be dangerous. So be careful. So, but if it's something that you want to get more knowledge of because it's been happening to you, you're not quite sure, I will recommend My Big Toe. Right? It's really good. He has a really good sense of humor. At least I think so, right? Because I like to joke a lot, but you can teach a lot of people with humor. And I like his teaching style. Although it's a lot of things in it that's scientific, he'll break it down and he'll let you know, okay, so this might sound like mumbo jumbo to you, but just for those who need this information, here you go, So, but I listen, and I think you listen to it, I want to say the Audible is 6 hours, 6 or 7 hours. But what I did, I downloaded the audio version of the 3, and I just let it play in my ear while I was working through and moving throughout the day. So it's Audible. It's also on Kindle, and you can order the hardback as well. It's up to you. I need stuff in my hands where I can kind of just so I can have it physical, so I can go to it really quick, So, but just in case there's a glitch with communications, I don't want to lose it all. I need it here to where when I need to go back to it, I can use it as a reference. Look, I'm about to buy the book now. I just wish there wasn't a huge toe on the cover. I know it's fun. Look, once you read it and he begins to explain all of that, you're gonna see. Because it's almost like you see some of them scientific movies and it like kind of like goes. You see like you'll see me. But what it begins to do, he begins to illuminate and go in closer and closer and closer and go into then. So where I'm close up now you don't see my whole body, you can just see my eye, then my pupil. He's like taking you on that experience where we are going to focus in on this so you can see what's actually happening behind the scenes, i.e. behind her eyes. Like you go in to see what's happening in the spiritual realm, right? He even tells you how like the irises of the eyes, how they are literally, and I think it's a picture in there where it shows like they're like projector screens from what's happening in the spirit. Like you can go in it, guys. Y'all have to get it. It's amazing the way he explains it and help me understand so much in the spiritual world. How I can just look at it, I was like, oh, like so we are literally, our physical body is literally being operated by our spirit within us, right? We are navigating this physical body from within. So this book teaches you how to go within to navigate what you see. And when you understand this, you can actually begin to see what's happening in the world. Like I never understood the Matrix, even like the movie The Matrix and the principle they were trying to teach you until I read this. I'm like, oh snap. Now when I hear people talk about the Matrix, I'm like, truly we are living in a Matrix. And like our human bodies are almost like our avatars for our spirit who is navigating. But as you begin to sharpen your spirit, iron sharpens iron, and you begin to understand these things with your physical brain and the things that you can't understand with your physical brain, you can go within and you can ask God, okay, help me. What is happening? Help me to see. And you can kind of see things that seem to be mysteries to a lot of people. And you can really begin to see the spiritual principles operating behind them. And when you can begin to see the spiritual principles operating behind things, you can literally navigate situations in the physical realm, understanding what principle is being operated on. And if you see from what you observe based on what you can see that other people can't see, you can navigate the situations to bypass catastrophe, or here is an opportunity. Stay on this road. This is the way you want to go. It will literally open your eyes to things like that. And that's how you see people progress and become successful a lot of times overnight, because they have tapped into that. And a lot of that information they don't necessarily share, because those are like gems. You just don't give them out to everybody because everybody's not ready for it. Everybody can't receive it, right? Like what Ezra, the angel, was saying, what Uriel was saying to Ezra. It's like, you can't even, you don't even understand what's going on in this physical realm. How then can you understand the things of the spiritual? We read that also in the New Testament as well, right? Those are gems things, but those are gems and things you can change your life in this world by if you understand them. And it's neither good nor evil, right? There are principles. And if you understand the principles, you can operate it. It's no different from how you operate a vehicle, right? You don't necessarily need a lot of information, need to know the technical details unless you yourself want to build your very own brand and style and model of vehicle. Then you need to know some deeper information. That's kind of what the guy is. I forget his name. I think it's Tom. Don't quote me on that, but I know the title of the book is definitely My Big Toe. Thomas something. Don't quote me on the name, y'all, but it's My Big Toe. I know that for certain. It's kind of like what he is, and by trade in the physical realm, he is an engineer who designs things and like digital electronic things in the engineering field. So he has a deeper understanding, which is how he's able to dig into the details and give you a deeper understanding of what's going on. And he shows you that you can use it, you can drive it just with some basic information. Just understand the rules of the road. Here's how you start it. Here's where you put gas in it to keep it running. Now, if you want to design one on your own and begin to sell it and offer it to the world, here's what you need to know. You got to go to college for this, right? You got to if you want to go, you need to specialize in this now, right? So the higher you go, the more understanding you have. And it's those right here. The only principles you will be able to operate on are just these here that you understand, and you can't go any further. You can go below, but you can't go any higher. But the more laws and things that you understand as you grow, you can go between the different levels of understanding to teach different people all the way to the bottom, all the way up to the current level where you're at. That's the beauty about being an engineer. You can flow between the levels of information and give it to people, right? And so you may see something up here where I'm like, no, we can only take this. No, there are 4 other roads you can take. You just can't see it because you can't understand. I can see. So that's the beauty of the beauty of being able to astral project, because it can increase the value of your life, and you can do it legally because it's something you can operate on daily. And I think it's something that Yahuwah meant for us to operate on, like without there ever being a break in it, because children come into the world doing it, right? They come into the world, everybody does. So I know we talked a lot about that, but it's a really interesting topic. So, but I just want to give you a little gem, my big toe. It'll help you along the way. So, but yeah, okay. So where was we at? We at 145. Let me finish reading this page, and then we'll just pause right here. Yeah, we'll pause right here. I think I stopped. Shucks. Hold on. I don't even think we got past this first little paragraph. Okay. It's a picture above are the Egyptian priests honoring an image of the sun that looks very solar. The priests in the picture below it are making offerings to an image that are also solar. The Roman Catholic monstrance pictured here looks very similar to these other things. The monstrance is not mentioned in the scriptures, so it must have been borrowed from the pagans. Catholicism teaches the monstrance displays the actual presence or the literal body of Mashiach. Millions were killed for denying it was his actual body. And it says right here, it says Yahushua warned us in Matthew chapter 24, verses 23 through 26. At that time, if anyone says to you, look, here's the Mashiach, or there he is, do not believe it. So if anyone tells you, there he is out in the desert, do not go out, or here he is in the inner rooms, do not believe it. Religions entrap their proponents and are very similar to magic acts and circuses. To quote Stephen Wright, isn't Disney World a people trap operated by a mouse? Think about that. To quote Hillel, the first century Pharisee, that which you find hateful to yourself, do that not unto your neighbor. Many Christians are awaiting a one world government they call the beast, which they fear will not allow them to buy or sell without a mark. The text doesn't even say there will suddenly be a beast government ruling the world prior to Yahuwah's return, but rather it says the whole world was astonished, overwhelmed, and followed the beast. All inhabitants of the earth will worship the beast. That's Revelation 13. And we can clearly see that. Remember how we've been talking about the last couple of weeks? Like, we're not waiting for the beast system to come, or we're not waiting for people to take the mark of the beast. It's already here. We were born into that, right? So how they in the church and different places, they teach you that it's coming. No, it's been here. We were born into it. It's not coming. It's already here, right? And those of us who wake up out of the matrix, i.e. come out of her, my people, that you not suffer with her plagues, come out of her, come out of the beast system, come out of the pagan worship places and churches that teach you a bunch of heresy and lies. Come out of her, come out of the beast system that you were born into, right? And as we come out of the beast system, we begin to learn about some of these things, i.e. some of the spiritual and supernatural things that we was just talking about over here almost the last hour, right? Which they call astral projecting. It's a real thing. You begin to see some of these things, and it just takes you on a whole, I'm gonna say a whole nother path of learning, but it increases your knowledge whereby you can see what's going on. And it's like the people in the beast system, it's like they're here at this lower level. And those of us that begin to come out of her, we kind of see, and we begin to kind of ascend levels, and we see, oh no, that's not that. You know, because I can see here what you're doing is wrong. That is not what they told you it is, what you think it is. Same thing with the how they teach about who God is. Here's what you tell the lower level people, that it's him. But when you get up here to the higher ranking degrees, we worship Lucifer, right? This is it's that same principle operating all around the board, people. It's the same thing, right? hold on, the text doesn't say there will suddenly be a beast government ruling the world prior to Yahuwah's return, but rather it says the whole world was astonished. In parentheses, it says overwhelmed. The whole world was astonished and followed the beast. All inhabitants of the earth will worship the beast. Revelation 13. To worship is to obey. This is not just a government, but a religious system. People are not legislated to worship this beast. They are tricked into it through tradition, the establishment. Just like Daniel said, the enemy will use craft to deceive. He will win people over by peace, right? A lot of people think like the movies, the love and how movies, they're going to come busting into your homes, take the mark of the beast, deny you, say, no, you don't win people like that. And the enemy knows that. So he used his craft to deceive you and win you over by peace. Just like with the jab, they make you think you need this. But now things is coming out clear. We knew it from the beginning, right? Those of us who have came out the matrix, even just a little bit, like, no, something's wrong about this. Y'all offering free food, free donuts, tickets to places to take a jab?
Mom,
When does this happen?
Mom, that's for you.
No, this Dad's. When has this ever happened? What is the real sinister motive behind all of this, y'all? When do you ever offer people free anything to take something, right? Especially something like this. So yeah, to worship is to obey. This is not just a government, but a religious system. People are not legislated to worship this beast. They are tricked into it through tradition, the establishment. The intoxicating wine is the Roman calendar, sacraments, and all the human teachings held in the golden cup of the whore of Babylon. The beast doesn't appear suddenly. Thank you. We were all born watching the woman or the clergy that is controlling it, and it is still galloping and exploding across the planet. It's a circus, and we must not be mesmerized by it. And this is where we're going to stop today. I know we started on the same page and ended. Hold on. Yeah, page 129. I said 128, but I showed you the pictures. Actually, page 129. Okay, y'all. I know today was extra long, but although we didn't read too much more of this because we only got to the reading yesterday because we ran out of time because it was so long, but still, nevertheless, it was good today. All right, so y'all, it is Saturday, June the 5th, 2021, day 172 of year 3 of reading through the books of the law and the prophets, and of the 3-year consecutive day count, day 841. We read 4th Ezra, also called 2nd Esdras, in the Apocrypha. We read chapters 2, 3, and 4, and we read page 129 of Fossilized Customs. All right, beautiful people, so let's go ahead and read the blessing. You're absolutely right, Hezekiah. Let's see, yep, all the sickness. I went up to your comment before that. You said, you need to open a spiritual bookstore. You just sold the mess out of that book. I know, right? I ain't get no credit, but get it. I'm telling you, it is. That's how good it is. And I ain't getting no kind of kickbacks, nothing from it. The man who wrote the book don't even know me, never heard of my name. But I'm just telling you, it's a good resource. You have all the sicknesses and disease truly killing everyone in the world, and they supposedly know no cures, but they are literally begging us to take this stuff. I don't know how people still don't see. I know it's crazy. And it's crazy. Even some in the truth are deceived. Didn't y'all say even the very elect would be deceived? Here's what it said. Even the very elect, it said, if it were possible, even the very elect would be deceived. And that's what people leave off. If it were possible. Now, if they're being deceived and they're taking it, that says to me, I'm reading between the lines of that statement, if it were possible. So those of us who haven't taken it, we stand firm against it, it must mean that we're the elect. I'm not saying that they're not, but it said, if it were possible, even the very elect. I ain't saying they're not elect, but we possibly could be the very elect, right? Because it said, if it were possible, even the very elect would be deceived. And we're not being deceived. I don't care what you say. We ain't taking us. Don't you come near us, because we will fight to the bloody death if you try to make us take anything or to inject anything in our bodies. It's going to be war, right? Don't try us. So we must be the very elect, and we must be that sect of the people whom they were truly talking about. We descend from that sect of people whom they truly were talking about, whom they tried to deal craftily with, right? That's why they came in and added a bunch of leaven, because you see how, I ain't gonna say how fierce we get, but we don't you come in here with no garbage with us. We know it ain't multiple gods. There is one God, and we worship him and him alone, right? It's those people with this type of attitude. Don't start none, won't be none. It's those of us that with that fire that they were trying to stop, right? And say we got to deceive this people. And the only way that you can deceive Israel is to get Israel to sin themselves. So what they do, they create things to entice you. And when you over by peace and just different things will cause you to partake in things that you shouldn't do, right? And then you strike yourself off that list of being their very elect. You fall from the very elect to the common people. Now you got the jab. I'm like, may you will keep us in the very elect, right? Okay, y'all. So let's go ahead and do this bless. I know we almost at 2 hours and people got to go. I'm sorry, y'all. Cynthia, hey girl, hey, be blessed, guys. Continue to pray, confess, and turn away from sin on daily. Follow Yah. We take away all the names. We follow Yah and obey the word. Praise Yah. Amen. Yes.
That tastes good.
Okay, you drink it, Pootie. All right. So let's go ahead and do the blessing,
Mommy,
which is found, yes, baby girl, in Numbers.
This is sour. I love sour.
Yeah, because you put lime juice in it. She got blueberries and put lime juice on it. I was looking at it. I wonder how that was going to turn out. Okay, so the blessing is found in Numbers chapter 6, verses 22 through 27. Remember, the first 21 verses is the Nazarite vow. Man or woman can take it. And Yahuwah spake unto Moses, saying, speak unto Aaron and unto his son, saying, on this wise, ye shall bless the children of Israel, saying unto them, may Yahuwah bless us and keep us. May Yahuwah make his face to shine upon us and be gracious unto us. May Yahuwah lift up his countenance upon us and give us peace. And they shall put my name, whose name? Yahuwah's name alone. And they shall put my name upon the children of Israel, and I will bless them. Okay, beautiful people. So let me do this, and my phone about to die too. Okay, y'all. I think I just kind of addressed everything as we went, y'all. Thank you, Love Mish and Alicia, about the movie. I'm gonna go watch that. Behind Her Eyes is what they said. So it talks about some of the stuff we were talking about, the astral projecting and everything. So I'm excited. I know it's gonna be good. All right, y'all. So that being said, I think I hit it. Like I said, I think I was hitting everything while we was going. Wait, hold on. I seen a comment up here that Love Mish said. I think that has to do with something we had mentioned. She said, my cousin had strap travel. Laugh out loud. I think that was when I was, if I'm thinking about that right, I think it was on that certain part where I say some people actually go into that realm to do certain things that they wouldn't necessarily do in the physical realm with their physical bodies, because you can go and look, and it feels just as real, if not even more real. But I think some people do it, and here's what's crazy. I don't know. I'm like, you might get impregnated with Satan's seed or something doing this, but people literally do. Like, they would do things. They like some things people have to do, and they have to get themselves drunk, or they have to inebriate themselves to do something, to act out something they really want to do. When they learn how to astral project, it's no holds bar, and all those things that they wanted to do, if they use that as an outlet to do that, because it seems like there is no repercussions. You can't get pregnant, you can't catch a disease, but you may not be able to catch a physical one, right? But you will catch a spiritual one, and it's going to entrap your mind, and it's going to link you up with some uncouth people. Like my mama say, uncouth. Going to link you up with some uncouth people that are also there traveling in that astral world, and they tend to a lot of times meet up in the physical world. Like, it's crazy, y'all, what happens. But yeah, my cousin has strap travel. Tell your cousin I said be safe. All right, y'all. So that's it. We out of here, y'all. This was fun today. I really enjoyed this. I'm gonna go back and watch this over again after I watch Behind Her Eyes. All right, y'all. Love y'all. See y'all in the morning, 7:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Peace.